keep it together.
Guess it's my turn.
Where's the Hummer EV? No, I didn't say Hummer EV. Look at your text messages. Wait, what? Oh, okay. It's a Hummer and an EV. You want to check it out? No, that's fine. That's cool too. Let's check it out. Hey, it's John from Adults Have Toys Too. I'm here at the Tesla Superchargers to show you something completely unrelated. What I have here today is actually one of the viewers' toys, a 1992 military Humvee. And if you have a cool toy you'd like to see featured on this show, be sure to reach out to me on twitter.com at toys_2. So a viewer of the channel was actually nice enough to allow me to take his military Humvee out for the day. This is actually a 1992 military Humvee that was turned movie car and now is California registered, street legal, able to drive on the roads. 1992 is actually a really interesting year for this vehicle. While the Humvee was produced for the military since 1984, 1992 is when this happened. The press and fans gathered in the AM General factory to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger sit in the driver's seat of the first production Hummer H1. In driving out of that factory, the Humvee forever became known as the Hummer. The reputation this thing had built since the 80s, combined with the excesses of the 90s, made for the perfect marketing tool to sell this military vehicle to the public. This thing was designed in the 80s and has an aluminum body, makes all of 150 horsepower, but 250 foot-pounds of torque. But the thing is a bulletproof monster. This thing will ford water, this thing will go up incredible slopes, and is designed to take the type of abuse that your regular car just will not be able to take. The civilian version of the Hummer was built to the same specifications as the military vehicle. In fact, it was built on the same assembly line. The interior was really the main difference, having that modern 80s aesthetic. But overall, you were getting that true military experience with the civilian Hummer. Now, whether that true military experience is something you actually wanted is another story entirely. While the civilian interior was updated to resemble a modern, comfortable luxury vehicle, complete with amenities like adjustable seats and AM/FM stereo and air conditioning, such luxuries. At the end of the day, you could drive this thing around town, to the bank, to the grocery store, but it really doesn't feel at home there. Where it truly feels at home is not on the unbeaten path, but where there isn't a path entirely. Lamborghini actually made a competitor to this back in the 80s, and that came out as the LM002, which is another ridiculous 80s vehicle. It came complete with a Countach V12 and was known as the Rambo Lambo. All this brings me back to this viewer's toy. If the civilian Hummer is just a fancier version of the military one, and all you're looking for is a fun toy, why get everything else and just get to the source and pick up a former military Humvee? One compelling reason would be the price. A civilian Hummer ranges from somewhere around $50,000 all the way up to well over $100,000. Whereas you can go to somewhere like GovPlanet and pick up a used military Hummer for sometimes around $10,000 or less. Though, depending on where you live, it may be difficult or impossible to register the vehicle. But with this having been registered in California years ago, due to it being a movie car, there's no problem at all driving this around town. Stepping inside this genuine military Humvee shows a very Spartan environment. This is truly a tool turned toy. All you'll really find in here is a steering wheel, gas and brake, some gear selectors, and a set of lighting switches that has multiple modes, including a low-profile, low-light mode. Alright, let's go for a drive. There we go. So this being a diesel, we need to make sure that the glow plugs are warm. So we'll wait here for a second. And we're good to go. All right. Brake down. There's actually no park in here. It's reverse, neutral, drive, 2 and 1. So you actually need to have it in neutral to start it up. Off we go. So this thing actually drives a lot smaller than it looks. Though for how big it is, I feel very cramped over here, sitting in the far corner. In fact, one of the defining characteristics of the Humvee is how far apart the seats are. Why are you wearing the sunglasses? I'm the one driving. Can I have those? Okay, fine. Thank you. One benefit of being so close to the doors and the doors so thin is I can look out the window and see exactly where my driver's side wheels are. One downside is hard for me to tell where that side of the car is. To kind of give you an idea of how wide this thing is, I have the camera mounted about midway on the passenger side window, and I cannot reach it. Not even close. And fast is not something that I would call this. I would say 0 to 60 is about yes, and 60 to 0 is probably. But you don't buy this thing to win street races. This thing is purely a toy. This thing is just designed to give you the enjoyment of driving around town in a military vehicle that sounds like this. I am now all in, and I'm kind of afraid to look at the speedometer. I'm going about 40. 45. And one interesting thing you have to get used to is there's really no caster. When you turn, you have to physically turn the wheel back to straight. It's not going to do it for you, and you've got to kind of adjust it to make sure that you're actually going straight. This is just kind of stupid fun. I mean, that's really what it is. It's just silly, and it's just ridiculous. But that's what makes it fun. And just driving around, you can tell you've got all eyes on you. Visibility is actually a lot better than I expected. With this cloth top on here, I figured I'd have a lot of obscured views. But looking around, I can see in pretty much all directions. So right now, I'm pulling into the natural habitat of the SUV, the shopping mall. I don't feel like I'm dominating the roads just because of my size. This actually feels smaller than a lot of full-size pickup trucks. I do feel like I'm dominating the road because I'm in a desert tan military vehicle that sounds like this. And driving around the mall here, the looks and the waves you get makes you feel something special. Yeah, every time you drive this thing, it's an adventure. It feels like something happened. You did something. Wow. All right. So I want to thank my viewer for allowing me to play with his toy for the day. And I think standing here in front of a defunct Sears store really kind of epitomizes what we're looking at here. This vehicle is a representation of a time in American culture that we may never see again. And the EV really represents where we're going as a culture. And whether you think we're going in the right direction or the wrong direction is entirely up to you. But either way you look at it, what GM is doing with the new Hummer EV is incredibly impressive. When I first heard about it, I was skeptical. But somehow, they seem to have really captured the essence of the old Humvee and married it with all the benefits of a modern electric car. They even have a few innovations that push the segment in new directions. Literally. But I, for one, am very happy that something like this exists. It's a way of experiencing history, experiencing American culture that you can't get from just reading it in a book or looking at it online. I hope you enjoyed going on this adventure with me, and if you have a toy you'd like to see showcased on this show, leave me a message. But until next time, never stop having fun.